Here's what this pop rock track sounds like, completely flat, no EQ, no compression, no effects, just raw stems. Now here's the same section, same levels, same arrangement, but with just 5 universal audio plugins across the session. The drums hit harder. The vocal sits in the mix instead of floating on top of it. The whole thing has dimension, warmth, and that cohesion that makes you stop scrolling and actually listen. If you've ever stared at the UA plugin catalog and thought, where do I even start? Today, I'm going to show you the 5 plugins that I picked if I could only have 5. And instead of just telling you about them, I'm going to show you exactly how they fit into a real mix, one plugin at a time, so you can hear and see what each one brings to the table. Hello, and welcome to Kenetic Sownd, where we embrace the idea that we don't start off as professionals, but we can all become pros through practice and knowledge. Before we dive into the session, here's the lineup. 5 plugins, each modeled from legendary hardware that defined the sound of professional studios for decades. Number 1, the API Vision Channel Strip, your front-of-house tone shaper. Number 2, the 1176 Classic Limiter Collection, the most recorded compressor in history. Number 3, the Empirical Labs Fatso, your secret weapon for analog warmth and saturation. Number 4, the Manley Massive Passive EQ, $7,000 of mixed bus polish for a fraction of the cost. And number 5, the Galaxy Tape Echo, modulation, depth, and character that digital delay simply cannot replicate. Now, let's open up the session and put each one to work. Here's our track, a pop rock song with drums, bass, electric guitars, keys, and vocals. We're going after a warm, analog-leaning song. Right now, every channel is completely dry, no processing at all. No EQ, no compression, no effects, there's no character, no depth, no glue holding the mix together. Let's change that one plugin at a time. Let's start where every professional mix starts, at the channel level. The API Vision Channel Strip gives you an EQ section inspired by the legendary API 550A and a compressor modeled after the API 2500 bus compressor, all in one plugin. The original API consoles have shaped the sound of records from AC/DC to Foo Fighters. What makes this EQ special is its proportional cue behavior. As you boost more, the bandwidth narrows. That means gentle musical moves at low gain and surgical precisions where you push it. I'll be doing a full deep dive on the API Vision in an upcoming video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. Now, let me show you what this does on the drum bus. I'm going to bring up the API Vision, dial in a low-end shelf and presence boost at 3 kHz, and engage the compressor section with a medium attack to let the transients breathe. Listen to the drums before and after. First, here's the drum bus clean, no API Vision. Now, here's the same section with the API Vision engaged. Watch the EQ curve and the gain reduction meter. Did you hear that? The kick has more authority in the low end, and that 3 kHz presence boost brings the snare forward without making it harsh. The proportional cue is doing exactly what API designed it to do: wide and gentle at low gain, focused and precise where you need it. That's why proportional cue sounds more musical than a standard parametric. It automatically keeps those boosts from getting harsh. So you spend less time tweaking and more time mixing. Next up, the plugin that probably needs no introduction, the 1176 Classic Limiter Collection, designed by Bill Putnam in 1967. The 1176 was the world's first all-solid-state peak limiter, and it became the most used compressor in recording history. UA gives you 3 revisions in one plugin: the blue stripe, the blackface, and the silver, each with a slightly different character. For this mix, I'm going to use the blue stripe revision on the lead vocal. Now, if you've seen my video on what actually happens when you turn the attack knob on a compressor, you know that the fast attack clamps down on the transients immediately, while a slow attack lets the initial punch through before the gain reduction kicks in. That concept is everything on the 1176. On this vocal, I want to control without killing the life. So I'm setting a medium fast attack, fast enough to catch the peaks, but not so fast that I squash the natural dynamics of the performance. The ratio is at 4:1, and I'm pulling about 3 to 6 dB of gain reduction on the loudest phrases. Here's the vocal, raw, no compression at all.
You cut the line like you own the air. Design a shade but you never care. Step on toes just to get your way. Smile like it's just another day.
Now, here's the same vocal with the 1176 blue stripe. Watch the gain reduction meter. You'll see it responding to every phrase.
You cut the line like you own the air. Design a shade but you never care. Step on toes just to get your way. Smile like it's just another day. Speeding fast in your polished steel. Middle finger like it's no big deal. Take a last slice, don't leave an axe. Leave the rest with an empty glass.
Notice how the vocal sits in the mix. It's not louder, it's more consistent. The peaks are controlled, but the natural dynamics are still there. That's the 1176's superpower. It's fast enough to be transparent, but colored enough to add character. That FET circuit adds a subtle harmonic richness that you just don't get from a stock compressor. If you want to go deeper on the 1176, including the famous all buttons trick, I've got a full deep dive video on this plugin. I'll put the card up right now. All right, now we're getting into my personal favorite secret weapon, the Empirical Labs Fatso. Full analog tape simulator and optimizer, designed by Dave Durr, the same mind behind the legendary Distressor. The hardware Fatso packs 4 processing engines into one box: saturation, warmth, a transformer circuit called tranny, and compression. No other plugin gives this combination of tape character, transformer coloration, and dynamics in a single insert. Now, here's the key, and if you saw my Fatso deep dive, you know this. I'm not using the Fatso as an insert on any individual channels. I'm actually using it on a parallel send bus. That means every track in the session sends a copy of its signal to the Fatso, and I blend that saturated signal back in underneath the clean mix. This gives you all the warmth and harmonic richness of the analog tape without replacing your clean signal. You're adding character, not destroying clarity. I've got the warmth circuit engaged at about 3, and the tranny is set to 2. No compression, just pure saturation and transformer color. Let me show you the difference. Here's the mix with just the API Vision and the 1176 no Fatso.
You cut the line like you own the air. Design a shade but you never care. Step on toes just to get your way. Smile like it's just another day.
Now I'm blending in the Fatso parallel bus. Watch the M multi-analyzer. You'll see the harmonic content building in the upper mids.
You cut the line like you own the air. Design a shade but you never care. Step on toes just to get your way, smile like it's just another day. Speeding fast in your polished steel, middle finger like it's no big deal. Take a last slice, don't leave an ash, leave the rest with an empty glass. You build your throne on a borrowed crown, gravity always pulls it down.
Did you hear that? The mix didn't even get louder. It got wider and warmer. The bass has more body. The guitars have more presence. And there's a cohesion now that wasn't there before. That's what the analog tape and transformer saturation do. They fill in the gaps between the notes. For the full breakdown of every Fatso control and how to dial in warmth without the mud, check out my deep dive video. Cards going up now. If you're getting some value from this video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you wish to see more videos like this. Don't forget to click on the notification button so you'll be alerted each time I post a new video. I've got many more plugins to cover in the future, so you'll definitely want to see those. And while you're here, I've put together something special for this video. It's a 5 plugin starting settings cheat sheet, 1 page per plugin with my recommended starting points for the most common mixing scenarios. There's vocals, drums, the mix bus, guitars, you name it. Plus, I'm bundling in all of the individual deep dive resources for each plugin's video. That's the DSP cheat sheets, the EL7 reference guide, everything. Completely free. Head over to the link in the description to grab your copy. We're now stepping up to the mix bus, and this is where the Manley Massive Passive EQ earns its place on this list. The original hardware was designed by Hutch Hutchinson for Ivana Manley, a passive EQ topology running through 6 vacuum tubes with no negative feedback. The hardware cost nearly $7,000. But here's the thing that makes the Massive Passive special, and this was the most memorable moment from my deep dive on this plugin. Even with every EQ band set to flat, the signal still passes through those 6 tubes, and the tube stage alone adds a subtle harmonic richness, a 3-dimensional quality that you can actually hear. Let me show you. I'm putting the Massive Passive on the stereo mix bus. First, I'm going to leave all the EQ bands flat, completely bypassed. The only thing the signal is passing through is the tube gain stage. Listen to the difference. Here's the mix bus without the Massive Passive. Now, here's the same section with the Massive Passive inserted. All bands are flat, just the tube coloring the signal. Did you hear that? It's subtle, but the mix feels bigger. There's a warmth in the low mids and a sheen in the top end that wasn't there before. That's 6 tubes doing what tubes do, adding even order harmonics that our ears interpret as warmth and depth. Now, let me add just a touch of EQ, a low shelf boost around 100 Hz for weight and a high shelf around 12 kilohertz for air.
You cut the line like you own the air, design a shape but you never care. Step on toes just to get your way, smile like it's just another day. Speeding fast in your polished steel, middle finger like it's no big deal. Take a last slice, don't leave an ash, leave the rest with an empty glass.
That's passive equalization. No sharp edges, no resonant peaks. That's the expensive polish. That's what $7,000 of analog hardware sounds like. And UA captured it at a fraction of the cost. Full deep dive video is linked in the card right now. Last but absolutely not least, the Galaxy Tape Echo. Modeled from the legendary Roland RE-201 Space Echo, first built by Akutaro Takahashi in 1974 and produced for an incredible 16 years straight. What makes the RE-201 and UA's emulation of it fundamentally different from any digital delay is the tape transport itself. Every repeat passes through a real magnetic tape loop, and each pass degrades slightly. The high frequencies soften. The pitch wobbles from whoa and flutter. The repeats don't just get quieter, they decay. Like a memory fading. Digital delay gives you perfect copies. Tape echoes give you living, breathing repetitions. I'm putting the Galaxy Tape Echo on the Guitar Group bus. 3 electric guitar parts running through one plug-in for depth and atmosphere. UA's golden unit modeling captures one specific, meticulously maintained RE-201 at its absolute best, and the tape age control lets you dial in how worn the virtual tape is, from pristine to beautifully degraded. Here's the guitar part dry, no effects. Now here's the same part with the Galaxy Tape Echo. Echo rate at about 11 o'clock for a longer atmospheric delay. Feedback at about 1 o'clock for moderate repeats. Listen to how the repeats sit behind the dry signal. They're not competing, they're supporting. Did you hear those repeats? They're darker, warmer, and slightly pitched compared to the dry signal. That's the whoa and flutter modulation and the natural high-frequency roll-off of the magnetic tape. It's not an effect that sits on top of the mix. It blends it into it. That's why Tape Echo has been the go-to for everyone from David Gilmour to Radiohead. For the full deep dive on the RE-201, the tape transport mechanics, and every mode of the Galaxy Tape Echo, check out my video. Cards going up right now. All right, we've gone through all 5. Let me play you the full mix one more time from the top. API Vision shaping the channels, 1176 controlling the vocal dynamics, Fatso adding warmth and harmonic richness on the parallel bus, and Massive Passive polishing the mix bus with tubes and gentle EQ, and finally the Galaxy Tape Echo adding depth and dimension to the guitars. This is what happens when you take raw, unprocessed tracks and run them through tools modeled from the most sought-after hardware in the recording history.
Cut the line like you own the air. Decide to shave but you never care. Step on toes just to get your way. Smile like it's just another day. Speeding fast in your polished steel. Middle finger like it's no big deal. Take a last slice, don't leave an edge. Leave the rest with an empty glass. You built your throne on a borrowed crown. Gravity always pulls it down. Burn down the hill and it all collapse. No more kings in the golden trap. Level the ground near the people's dream. We're not less than your silver dream. Burn down the hill, watch it turn to dust. No more power built on unjust. When the smoke clears, we will stand still. All the same on a world we know here.
Remember, I've put together the 5 plugin starting settings cheat sheet with my recommended starting points for every plugin we've covered today, plus the complete bundle of all the individual deep dive resources. It's completely free, and it's my way of saying thanks for spending the time watching this video. Head over to the link in the description to grab your copy. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 plugins would you grab first? Or if you already own some of them, which one changed your mixes the most? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. That's going to do it for this one. If you're new here, welcome to Kenetic Sound. I break down professional mixing tools and techniques with depth and detail you won't find anywhere else. Because understanding the why behind the tools is what separates professionals from everyone else. In my next video, we're going deep on the tape saturation. I am going to explain what warmth actually means in DSP terms. We'll break down harmonic distortion, head bump, and high frequency roll-off, the 3 things that make tape sound like tape. If you've ever wondered why producers still reach for tape emulation plugins in a digital world, that video will give you the complete answer. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.